And we are back. I was going to say, Kelcey, do you want to do it? But then it would have been live on air.
It was too late.
Do you also want to do it? Do you want to give us like a 3, 2, 1, and we are back?
I don't.
Okay. And we are back.
No one does it like you, except for Jessica, who does it perfectly.
Yeah. And we're back.
And we are back. And we're back.
Can you two do an episode together at some point in these next couple of weeks?
Listen,
the
I
fans
have a
want
lot
it.
more availability than she does. It's not my fault that she has a full-time job and is sleepy.
Yeah, and a full-time husband, and I'm a lot of work.
Yeah, you're pretty needy.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, Dudette. Hey, Kelcey. Hey, dude, what's up?
Well, let's see. Not much. Just been making some stuff that I sell. That's what I've been doing today. So if anyone wants an acrylic calendar, send me a message because I'm cranking them out. That's mostly what I've been doing, and also hanging out with Scarlett. And yeah, we went on a walk today. It was really hot. It's going to be like 100 degrees this week. So that sucks.
That sounds like just the devil's butthole.
You know, yeah, the devil's sphincter.
Hate it. Hate it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. I feel like something else has happened, but probably not. So, what's up with you?
You know, I hate looking for houses.
Yeah.
And not in like, it's not fun. Like, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, we're kind of at this point where the amount of money that we want to spend on a house is significantly less than the amount that we were approved for a house. But in between those two ranges are the actual houses that we have been looking at.
Right. Like, which is a solid financial decision, like a grown person.
Right. So we're trying to find somewhere in between. And the problem is, obviously, I'm sure, because I know for a while there, you guys were really looking hard at houses, right?
Yeah.
So the crazy thing about the housing market right now is if you find a house in like that lower mid kind of range, like mid 200s to like high 300s kind of range, you're going to overpay. So if a house is maybe worth $350, you're probably going to have to put in an offer in of $390 to get the house. But then the problem is that you shoot yourself in the foot 20 years from now, 5 years from now, whenever you go to resell, right? So Jess and I were thinking, well, let's just go towards the higher part of our range. Let's bump it up a little bit so that those people who would have been maybe priced out were at least not having to bid against as many people, right? So, but the problem is we're not able to find a house that's close to us with the land that we want and not having to renovate it.
Yeah.
So, and we don't mind doing the project. It's just like, okay, we just put this down payment. Now we have to renovate.
Yeah.
Where are we going to find that money, right? And we went to this house today on our lunch breaks, and it was absolutely... Let me actually send this to you while
Wait,
we're
Jessica
on air
might have sent it to me. Was it the brick one?
The big, beautiful red brick one?
Yes, yeah.
Incredible, right?
Yes, because she sent it to me and was like, we're putting in the offer, and then you tell the story.
Well, we ended up, we didn't put an offer in.
Yeah, that's what she did. She updated me later.
Yeah.
I literally, finally got my phone to go show Michael. I was like, oh my God, you're gonna love this. And I was showing him, and as soon as we got through the pictures, Jessica texted me, was like, oh, we're actually not gonna put in the offer.
But the reasoning wasn't, there was nothing wrong with the house.
No, it's all very adult reasons.
Yeah, it's when you have over $1,000 a month in just taxes that you'll never get back. It's not going to principal. And it was like a 45-minute drive to, it was like a 40-minute drive to my job. And then it was actually like a 25-minute drive to her job. So it wasn't terrible for her, but for me, it was
But it was an increase still for both of you.
Yeah. Because her commute right now is 8 minutes and mine's 20.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
No. So, but we have a really great realtor. Shout out to Doug. He's really been great. And we'll just keep chugging along. But the fun thing is that I'm sure that you and Michael got to feel that excitement, which, are you guys going to get another house soon? Where are you guys at on the situation?
Well, right now with the way the market is, we're not really putting pressure on it because it's not really like a stress that we want to deal with. So we were originally looking like when we got married, and the market was so different. Like it was the kind of market where we would look at a house and you could realistically be like, you could make an offer that's like 20 grand under this, and like they would still potentially accept it. And then when I got pregnant, we were like, well, let's just hold off and like kind of see how this is going to affect us and how everything's going to work out financially. And good thing we did, because shit hit the fan real hard 3 months after Scarlett was born.
Real hard, yeah.
And 2020 happened. So, yeah. So it's just hard to say. Who knows? Who's to say? It's like we're just saving things right now, and then when we are back in a place where that's a priority, we'll already have money to put for the down payment, like set aside. So we're just kind of seeing where life takes us. We're lucky to be in a position where it's like something we want, but it's not like an immediate need. Like, oh my God, we have to move right now. So,
yeah. I mean, when we're kind of in that same spot, but living with family, it's just, there's that unwritten rule, right? It's there's for sure a time frame that they have in their head, but they're never going to tell you.
Yeah.
And we just feel like we're approaching that time frame.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, Kelcey, it is the inaugural 6 minute and 30-second mark of this podcast. What should people do?
Everybody should continue listening to this episode, and also scroll down on that podcast app, tap the 5 stars, and then leave us a written review telling us all your feelings about this podcast. Not about anything. I mean, I don't care. Tell me how you feel about ice cream. That's fine. Just do it in a review. That's also 5 stars. And then also follow us on Instagram, Dude Thoughts Pod. And then text this episode to 5 of your friends. 5 of your friends. That. Why should they text their friends, Carmen?
Well, they should text their friends, because what a beautiful segue. We're talking about #friends, the reunion. But before, we're actually, this was Kelcey's idea. We're both very excited. And this is perfect because Gabe's not here and Gabe has never seen Friends. So, and also there's too many friends within our friend group that don't like Friends, like idiots.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Friends. If you didn't watch it like when it was on, you're probably not going to like it, because a lot of it that like is attached to it is the sentiment and the like the nostalgia of it. And like with most things, comedies don't always age perfectly. I'm going to say that's pretty across the board. There are very few things that age perfectly. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not a flawed show, because it super is. And if they made it now, it would be just ripped to shreds, as it should be. I mean, there's a way they could make it now and it'd be good. But if they made the exact show now, it would be off the air in like 2 episodes. So
I don't know about 2 episodes. I just don't think it would have had the critical acclaim that it would have.
Yeah, it wouldn't have changed the face of television the way it did in the early 90s, when the bar was a bit lower.
Yeah, and a bit more mayonnaise-y, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't understand about How I Met Your Mother. That show is so white. How did they, like, if
it's
that
also
show...
like super sexually inappropriate in so many ways.
So many ways.
And also just the ending is terrible. It makes me so mad every time I think about it.
Yeah, that'll be an episode for a different day. Also, real quick sidebar. So I pulled up our list of episodes. If you have not been caught up to date with the Dude Thoughts podcast, we talked the last couple of episodes about John Mulaney. Speaking of Friends, there's a couple of friends who have appeared in the TV show who made it into our Celebrity Fight Club. We talked about the crazy cryptocurrency situation and Elon Musk's appearance on SNL. We did if you're a fan of the show, we did a Damn Dude You Dead special. Kelcey, you're waving me down. What's up? What did I miss?
Like an hour ago, China like banned a bunch of cryptocurrency. Did you see this? So now like
I did.
Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Like it's going to be like Michael was saying one of the websites where you can like transfer it got hacked, and so everything's locked, so you can't even change anything on your account.
Wow.
So people are
he actually sent
screwed.
me a text. He sent me a text while I was at Jewel doing some grocery shopping for dinner. He's like, hey, if you got crypto, like, get out of it now. And I was like, I don't fucking understand crypto, so I'm just not doing it.
That's smart. I don't think anyone does, because it's not real.
It's not real. It's
It
not
does
fucking
not
real.
exist.
No.
It blows my mind. Every time someone talks about it and they're like, "Oh, I have to get," I'm like, you can't get it because it doesn't. It's not. There's no. There's nothing. It's not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
I mean, it's funny because we were having, so, okay, one last tangent before we talk about Friends. I was at dinner the other day with Jess, Cindy, and Tom. We were getting Italian food. And someone had brought up all of the spending that the Democrats are doing, right? Which, like, for a purpose. We're trying to get the economy restarted. Talking about the infrastructure bill that Joe Biden has like been championing, which I'm a huge fan of. We need roads that work. We need pipes that don't just put lead in our water. What a
concept.
Yeah. I don't think Flint, Michigan still even has clean water this point. So, and all of a sudden I said, or someone had said that our kids and our kids' generation, our future generations are going to have to pay for this. And I said, no, we're not. Money is not even real. Money doesn't exist. And when you think that there's, okay, the GDP of America is what, $21 trillion or something. And then the debt's like $22 trillion or $20 trillion. It's something that's almost even, right?
Yeah.
And someone had said, oh, well, China has all of our debt. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Because if they ever were like, hey, America, give us our money or we're going to bomb you, we'll say, okay, we'll beat you to it.
Bet.
Yeah.
Hashtag bet.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, and with all of these initiatives, Joe Biden's investing so much money in green energy that it doesn't even matter because oil means nothing to us anymore the way that it did 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that before we dig into how shitty Ross is as a character?
Ross is the worst. I think it's just like, I have a similar thought process where they're like, oh, everyone is in so much debt. But like, here's the thing. Every country does this. Like, every country is in debt to someone. Like, someone totaled up the Earth's amount of debt. And they're like, oh, it's some number that doesn't even exist. And it's just like, no one can come collect it because then whoever they're in debt to is going to try and collect. And then and it's probably just going to come back around to the original person anyways. So it's like, yes, it matters in that you shouldn't just be like, we can make obscene promises that are unrealistic, but it's just, no one cares. Everyone always is like, oh, this president has added this much to the debt and this much to the deficit. And I'm like, show me one that hasn't. They don't exist because you can't do anything without spending money. And that's what happens when you thrive in a insane capitalist economy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You fucking dig the hole and then you're mad that you're in the hole. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I would say it's different on a personal level. Debt is very real. Like money.
Yes. Debt is real for a person, but
as a country, debt does not exist.
It just doesn't.
When you have more nuclear bombs than the entire world 12 times over, and you've got a fleet of aircraft carriers that could just go to any country and just say, all right, you're done, you're toast. It doesn't matter. Money does not matter. If your military
budget is like $220 billion, then like you probably don't need to be concerned about other people knocking on your door.
Yeah. It's all right. That's a whole nother episode, I feel like. That'll be a fun one titled Money Isn't Real. Anyways, so let's go ahead and talk about Friends. Kelcey, start us off. We'll go from there, and this will be a fun time.
So I watched like the back half of Friends when it was on TV. Obviously, I was 4 when it started, so I wasn't watching it when I was 4.
That you know of.
But definitely like the last 3 or 4 seasons I was watching when they were like live. And then I had all the box DVDs eventually as I was like a teenager when box DVDs were still the way to go. And so I would just watch them on loop all the time and like fall asleep to them. It was just like my background noise. So it got to the point where I could like recite just about every episode. And then here's the thing that really pisses me off. When they put it on Netflix, they put the cuts that were on TV, which is different than the cuts that were on the DVD because they film whatever, and then they cut it down so that it fits in the 30-minute time slot with commercials. But they'll cut like, I mean, it's not a lot. It's not like full plots. It's like one or two lines here and there.
Like the
Um,
small side jokes that those
yes.
become the quotable things.
But those are the things that I say all the time. And so then, like, I'm watching it on Netflix and I'm like in my head finishing the sentence or the next line, but they skip to some other plot point, and I'm like, what the hell? This is a very first world problem, but it really pisses me
Yeah.
off.
I don't think I've ever actually watched the unedited
Uncut.
the uncut. But is that so? I know they're on HBO Max now. Are they the uncut versions? Do you know?
I don't know. We don't have HBO Max, so I haven't watched it, and I also still have them all on DVD. So if I really needed to watch them, I could just do that. But I haven't checked on HBO Max. Maybe they're the original ones, the OGs with the goods. I hope
Maybe
they are.
it's maybe it's if it's not, it's like after every episode it's a link to buy the actual DVD Blu-ray box sets. Like if you want more
Can you
friends,
imagine
click
if you
here.
want a minute and 3 seconds more of each episode? Please click this link.
You know the people out there are fiending for that extra minute though.
Listen, I am, but I already have it, so I don't have to buy
So
it.
would you say that Friends is your favorite TV show that you got to watch live as it happened, or no?
Um I don't
If
I
if
don't
we
know.
can if I can help you out a little bit, would you say it's the best comedy that you watched live?
Probably at the time.
Okay.
Um
Okay.
yeah. And I mean, I did watch How I Met Your Mother when it was on, and I stand by the fact that the last season makes the whole show not as good because I hate, well, not even the whole last season, just the like finale really. Um so like for me, I think there's a lot of rewatchability to Friends. Um there are still like a few episodes that I just can't, like I'll skip them because I hate them so much. If they're Ross centric, I don't watch them. I hate him, he's not funny. I hate like all the things that all his shenanigans. It's like if you would just not be an idiot and just explain yourself, this wouldn't be happening and we could all go back to being normal people. Like I
Yeah.
hate the leather pants one. I hate it. I hate that. I won't do it.
I love the leather pants one
Nope, I
because
hate the leather pants one.
I feel that. I feel that one on a spiritual level. If I'm wearing, like, when I was wearing jeans to anywhere in Disney at all ever in the summer, when I was going to work in dress clothes, I felt like I was Ross in leather pants.
Okay, so here's the thing though. Just tell the girl, hey, these leather pants are super uncomfortable and now I can't get them back on because they're leather pants and I'm an idiot. You don't have to just stand in her bathroom for an hour and try and make some kind of paste pants. It's just like, it's not funny. I don't think it's funny. I also
Yeah.
hate the one where he whitens his teeth too much and then like is hiding the whole time. Again, just call the girl, hey, can't go. I'm got a cold next week when my teeth are
Yeah.
normal because I'm a fucking moron.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
Also, sorry to interrupt. That whole time, were you able to hear any dogs barking through my microphone?
No.
Okay, that's good to know. Because they're like super loud up there, and I'm like, so it's one dog, it's just Beasley, and she's kind of an a-hole.
How is Grievous, by the way? I meant to ask you earlier.
Oh yes, Grievous, that whole thing. So I actually did get a call from the vet today, and the test results all came back negative, all of his blood work. So there truly seems to be no reason that he had a seizure.
Okay, so let's all hope that it was just a one and done.
Yes. But also,
anyways,
did you see on my Facebook status, someone had commented and said that they had a husky that had a seizure at like the age of 6, and then the husky lived to be 15 years old and it never had another one? Did you see that on my Facebook status?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, someone had commented on it. So anyways, continue. Go ahead. The teeth whitening bullshit. Yes.
Yeah,
agreed.
I
Go
hate
on.
those episodes. I like now looking back on it, we'll get to the part where we talk about all the things that Friends did right, but apparently we're going to start with all the things Friends did wrong. So like looking back on it now, the ending, the fact that Rachel didn't go to Paris, I'm like, come on, that is fucked up. That's like literally her dream job and she doesn't go. Are you kidding me? I'm like,
I actually kind of hope that in the reunion show that Ross and Rachel have to fly in from Paris because she ended up taking the job.
I hope so, because it's like, I mean, it's like super messed up that she gets off that plane when she's already said that like the job she's in now is she's not like she's already at the highest point she can get to, and it's she's not challenged by it anymore or anything like that. And so I don't know. I just think I'm like, Ross, really? You can't dust off dinosaur bones in France? Like, you're useless. Who
He is for sure
cares?
useless. I also so okay, let's talk about the ending of the show real quick.
Okay. Spoilers for Friends.
Spoilers for Friends. If you're behind on this shit, go fuck yourself. First off, Rachel had the best character arc. Hands down.
agree.
Hands down.
sure,
Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
I feel like Ross didn't change at all. He sucked in the first episode and he sucked in the last
He
episode.
potentially got worse, maybe.
That's a yeah. Actually, now that he had a reverse, he had an under one of those under things.
Yeah, but it didn't even come back up. It just was a straight down line.
It's
It was not a
line.
parabola.
Oh, I believe it's pronounced parabola.
Maybe.
I'm kidding. I have no
That's what
idea.
Ross would say.
I feel like they did Phoebe dirty, other than the whole Paul Rudd relationship. Like, that was great, but I feel like she didn't need a man included in her arc, right?
No,
I
she
don't know.
didn't need one, but I do like that she ended up happy with Paul Rudd, especially like the whole thing where they were like he says, "Oh, I don't want to get married," and then she's tries to convince herself that she doesn't either, but then she comes to the realization that she really does, and so they break up and they get back together and they realize they're in love, and then it's just so good. I was actually super bummed to see that he wasn't on the reunion list, so I don't know what their explanation for that shit's gonna be, but I also don't really understand how they're doing the reunion because it's like unscripted, so I don't know what that means.
I hope it's just an hour and a half of improv.
Yeah, I have
And it's
no
just
clue.
Chandler and Joey just fucking around.
Because it kind of looked like James Corden was like hosting and like asking them questions. So I don't really know.
I think that was their like talk reunion. I think this is going to be an actual episode of some sort. It's the one where they got back together. I think those are two separate things.
Okay.
I could also be wrong, though.
I would be super down just for the six of them to get together and talk about what it was like to be the show, though. Like, that would be fine with me. I would listen to that for sure. I'm certain I will get emotional because it's just like, it's like a comfort food. It's like it just makes you feel nice. It's like sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a really bad dream and I can't get back to sleep, I put on Friends to fall back asleep because it distracts me from the terrible dreams.
Yes, with good dreams.
Yes.
Did you when it was live, did you want Joey and Phoebe to get together?
There was like a small point in time where I did because Ross and Rachel and Chandler and Monica, and I was like, oh, it's just do pair them off. But then I was also like, they would die. They would either kill each other or they would just die. And it just wouldn't be great.
Yeah. I feel like, so I did not get to watch the show live. Like, I was not, I completely watched the show after it had ended. I was very behind. I remember when I saw the Joey and Rachel thing, I was actually hoping that Joey and Rachel ended up together.
They worked way better than Rachel and Ross did.
Yeah, for sure.
They actually like had respect for each other as human beings.
What? What's
Here's
that?
my thing with the way it ended also with Rachel and Ross. I was like, there's no part of me that thinks they're gonna stay together. It's like when you watch a rom-com and they're in high school and then they end up together and it's like this big thing, and I'm like, here's the thing, they're 17, so they're not gonna stay together. I mean, one in like a million people that works out for, but for the most part, people don't marry their high school sweethearts. So it's kind of the same thing. I'm like, they've broken up 16 times already. Why should I think they're gonna stay together this time? They still probably hate each other.
Speaking of high school teenage rom-coms, 17 again. Am I right?
Okay. Let me tell you how there is no way in any reality that Zac Efron grows up to be Matthew Perry. Because let me tell you, I have watched that man age from 17 to 32, and he's looking way better than Matthew Perry has ever looked in his whole life.
Yeah, maybe the 40s were really hard for Zac Efron's character in 17 again.
I don't know.
Maybe there
That
was
was a
a
good
lot
movie,
of
but that was
drinking.
my main plot hole with it. I was like, no, this is terrible. This is a terrible casting choice. Like, it's a good casting choice to get me to see this movie, but it's a terrible casting choice in the reality of this film.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. That's one of like my favorite high school like flashback in time movies.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have that be its own category,
Yeah,
that's
what a
number one.
specific category.
Imagine you're an adult and you're getting divorced and you have to go back to high school for something and you're Zac Efron. That's my category. Actually, I would watch every single movie in that category. Yeah, that was my biggest beef with that movie. Anyways, great movie. We could talk. That's another episode. So Chandler's your favorite character, though, right?
Yes, Chandler is my favorite character because he's super snarkastic and bitter for no reason. And I think that's hilarious and relatable.
Joey is my character because he's Italian, eats all the time, and he's very popular with the ladies, so very relatable.
Only two of those things is true. And it's not the last one.
Nope, it's for sure all three of them. I think it's a 3-way tie.
Okay. I do want, like, one of these times I'm going to do a rewatch and go through and like count how many people Joey sleeps with, and it's going to be disgusting.
Yeah, but also, wait, hold on. What? No, he didn't sleep with Janice. It was Ross that slept with Janice.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they slept together, but they went out a couple times for sure.
The episode that was on the other day was when Chandler had hooked up with Joey's sister and they're all at dinner.
A good one.
So good. Because that for sure, I felt like I was sitting at a family dinner for that one. Oh man, what a time. What would be one of your more memorable Friends episodes?
So I think my top two favorites are the one where everyone finds out. It's just like, it's funny every time. Like with Phoebe and Rachel jumping and screaming and that they don't know that we know that they know we know. And it's just like, it gets, and then Phoebe dancing to try and seduce Chandler. And he's like, he went to get lotion. It's just too good. And then my other favorite is one of the Thanksgiving ones, the one where Ross got high and like they're all like, it's like a tangled web of lies and they're all trying to, and then they all at the end like say all those really random things together, and then Ross's mom is like, that's a lot of information to receive in 30 seconds. I just think it's so funny. And then she goes back to each one of them and addresses it, and she's like, I'm sorry, Phoebe, Jacques Cousteau is dead. Just think it's so funny. No, Rachel, it was not good. So those are probably my top two favorite episodes. What are your favorites?
Oh gosh, I think the one where they swap apartments.
Oh, that is a good one.
Such a good episode.
Like the game episode, like where they play the game. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, Miss Chandler Bong. Yep. Love it. And then I think, I don't remember which episode this is, but there is a specific episode where I think maybe it's the one where they get like Ross's sweater and she's pregnant, and then
it's like
Joey's
the second episode of like the 8th season.
Something like that. And then is that the one where Joey's sitting there and he's like thinking it over and Chandler's like, get there faster? Which one is that? Because that's my single favorite scene out of the entire show.
That is when Chandler's like says get there faster is definitely a different episode, but the scene where Ross takes the sweater and they're all like and then Joey's just sitting there and goes,
yeah, that's so good.
That's that episode.
Oh, he's just the best.
Yeah. He's so dumb. I love it. So silly.
It is also like, okay, if we're going to compare Friends and How I Met Your Mother just for a second here. I love that Joey's this like he's an actor.
Yeah.
Right? He's an actor playing an actor, but not like a famous one. He's
or
on
a
all
good
these,
one.
Or a good one. What's Dr. Drake Ramore?
Yeah, Dr. Drake Ramore. Days of Our Lives.
It's so funny. It's just man, these writers, they were so smart.
They were very good. Who is your favorite guest star Like not reoccurring, like just a one-off. Like I love the episode with where they bring Brad Pitt in because obviously him and Jennifer Aniston we're still married at that point. So I think that and so because I'm a huge nerd, I like read all this stuff about the filming and stuff. For that episode, because the way the set was set, it was like Chandler and Joey's apartment, and then the hallway, and then the main like Monica and Rachel's apartment, and you could see it all from where they would sit filming it. And so for that episode, they hung a black curtain in front of the hallway part so they couldn't see who was going to make the entrance. So no one knew until they opened the door. Yeah. And it's the same when Danny DeVito was the stripper, they did the same thing. And then again, when Ross slept with Janice or hooked up with Janice, they did the same thing. So like all of those reactions are like genuine. And then the one with Janice, they said they had to like hold filming because the crowd was like laughing and applauding for like over 3 minutes.
That's hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
What an underrated character.
I think Janice is, I actually think she's hilarious. But I think for one-offs, Brad Pitt is probably my favorite cameo. Who's yours?
I was gonna say Danny DeVito, but then I was trying to think of someone. He's so good. He's just so good.
It's like what a random like let's call Danny DeVito in to be a stripper for Phoebe's bachelorette party.
I'm actually gonna pull up. Hold on. All of the Friends cameos.
Oh, there's so many. Like literally. So have you ever played that game 6 Degrees of Separation?
Yeah. No, I haven't, but I know what it's.
Yeah. So you have to connect 2 actors by like the films they've been in with other people. So I used to play it. And I could get anywhere if I was allowed to use Friends because so many people have been in Friends. You can get anywhere if you're doing only movies, you can't obviously. But if you're including TV, like you can do anything with Friends and then like Law and Order because everyone's been on those 2 shows.
Yeah. Okay. So I have played that game. I just didn't know that I was playing that game. Also, so okay, Alec Baldwin, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, that was like the couple episodes where he dates Phoebe. It's like.
So I just love Alec Baldwin as a character because the first time I ever saw him in a movie was, I think, in theaters when I saw the Thomas the Tank Engine movie. And then he was like...
So you love him because of that?
No. I just think that it's so funny, the characters that he plays now. Yeah. Because my first impression of him was this wholesome guy. And then he does 30 Rock. And it's like, he's this big God complex kind of guy.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the funniest part about his character. Also, so I'm looking through. I forgot Winona Ryder was in this TV show, but I'm trying to remember who she was.
Oh, she was the crazy girl that kissed Rachel and was in love with Rachel from her sorority.
That's right.
This is like a very specific skill set I have that will get me absolutely nowhere, but I know a lot of things about Friends.
I don't think that that's a bad thing at all.
It's not a bad thing. It's just not very useful.
It's very useful. You're going to find
yourself... useful right now in this moment.
No, you're going to find yourself in a really big pot, like celebrity Friends, like trivia contest. And you're going to win the money. And that's going to pay for a house.
I hope so, because I would be very good at that. So if someone could invent that for me, that would be great.
So there's a ranking here. There's a top 5 ranking that they did of cameos on Friends.
Okay.
Number 1 was your Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 was my Danny DeVito.
Okay.
Number 2, do you want to take a guess who number 2 was?
What season are we in?
I don't know this. I don't know the season, but it's going to mainly involve Rachel. Rachel dated this person.
Bruce Willis.
There you go.
But that was more of an arc. That was like a couple episodes. But that was those were also his whole thing with Ross was actually pretty funny. When he sees him in the mirror, he's like,
yeah, so good. And that was like after Die Hard, so he was just this huge actor.
It was this is the length of my knowledge. The reason that Bruce Willis was on Friends was because he was filming that movie with Matthew Perry, and they had a bet about something, and the bet was if you lose the bet, then you have to come do like 5 episodes of Friends for free. And he lost the bet, so he did it. So that's why he was on Friends.
What would Matthew Perry would have? What would
I
he
don't
have had to do?
remember. I don't
Okay.
remember what it was because
Uh,
he won. So
That's fair. Number 4. I think this might have been a 1 or 2 episode character as well. And this was actually, if it wasn't Danny DeVito, this would have been my choice.
I need more hints.
Female woman.
Oh, a female woman.
A female woman.
Did
It's going to include a Thanksgiving episode.
It's a Thanksgiving episode. It's not Ellen Pompeo because you wouldn't care about that.
No. Give up?
Yeah.
Christina Applegate.
Ugh. She's so good. I was bummed that she wasn't coming back to the reunion too because Reese Witherspoon is.
But what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon's doing the reunion.
Oh, I love her.
I know. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if they had all 3 of them together for the first time as the Green sisters?
That would have missed opportunity. And I'm wearing green. What the fuck? They have Paul Rudd as number 8, so I'm actually not quite sure how much I believe in this list anymore.
Well, he's not really a cameo. I just don't think he's a full there all the time by the end of it. So I just don't count that as a cameo.
Number 5, you would also not consider a cameo then because this one actually had a number of episodes, but probably Monica's most famous ex.
Oh, it's Richard. Yeah, I was gonna say let's do who's our favorite reoccurring guest, and mine would be either Richard or Janice. Because I do love Tom Selleck. And he's on the reunion list. He's going to be there for the reunion.
That's good. I'm looking through this. I'm trying to think who else. So number 13 is Janice, Maggie Wheeler.
She's, oh my God.
That was good.
I will say when they show up like in the last season when Chandler and Monica are buying the house and they're like, we're looking for the house next door. I was like, impeccable timing. Like what? Like you think you're like, every time you don't think it's going to be Janice and it's fucking Janice. Like I just love the line when Monica's like, maybe the other couple will get the house, and Chandler's like, only if the other couple are the Hitlers.
the Hitlers. So okay, what do you think was better in that show, the writing or the actual acting?
I think it's really both, because I think when you have really good comedy like that, if you don't have good delivery, it doesn't matter how good the writing is. And it's the same for like if you have a really good comedic actor with no jokes to deliver, then it's not going to land. But it was truly like such a good marriage of like such the perfect team, and the cast all has like perfect chemistry together. And I know a lot of times, because they would film in front of live audiences, if a joke wouldn't land very well, like if it would only get a couple laughs, they would, like when they were in between takes, they would like literally talk to the audience and be like, is this funnier? And then they would do it a different way. So
that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Does this read better? Yeah. So again, I don't know. I have a lot of knowledge for no reason about this, because I think on all my DVDs, I watched absolutely every single special, like extra thing they had on the DVDs as well. So Gunther's going to be there for the reunion too.
What's that?
Gunther will also be there for the reunion.
Oh, incredible. Other noteworthy characters that I was just reading from on this list that I was reminded of, Jeff Goldblum, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Ben Stiller. Just a couple of characters that I forgot were in the show.
I forgot about Ben Stiller.
What a guy.
Freddie Prinze Jr. as the nanny is incredible. Also, Jeff Goldblum's little one-off for Chef's Kiss.
Anything Jeff Goldblum is going to be fire. It's just, it doesn't fail. It can't.
I think in season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race, I'm pretty sure it was season 12, he was a guest judge. Maybe it was 9. No, it wasn't 9. It was definitely not 9. Anyways, it was a recent season of RuPaul's Drag Race. He was a guest, and it was, I mean, just the way that man is in real life, it was impeccable. He was like, Ru, you are a queen and a goddess, and I just thank the sun and the heavens to be here today. And I was like, I'm dying. I love this man so much. What a little
I would
weirdo.
love to meet him. I would like to we got to get him on the podcast. Jeff Goldblum, if you're listening to this podcast, come on the podcast.
On the show.
We could talk about your one cameo in Friends or anything else from your incredible acting career
Absolute,
or your
everything
jazz
you've
project.
ever done with Jurassic Park, we will be discussing.
Yes. Okay. So we all know that Ross is the worst. We can all agree on that. And you said that Chandler is your number one.
Yes.
Okay. So my number one is Joey. Okay. Who's your number two? Where would it rank? Phoebe?
I think Phoebe, yeah. And then probably Joey. Although Phoebe and Joey would be very close. They could really tie for number 2, and then I could just skip to number 4.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I would Joey is far and away my favorite character, but a very a close tie between number 2 / could interchange for number 3 would be Chandler and Rachel. But Rachel mostly because I love Jennifer Aniston.
I do love Jennifer Aniston. She does a great job. But there are parts of Rachel that annoy me, like the fact that she thinks Ross is worth anything.
Yeah, I could look past that. I could look past that.
I don't know that I could. I think mine would go Chandler, Phoebe, Joey, Rachel, Monica, Ross. I don't like those Gellers, man.
The Gellers in the cellars. I would go Joey, Rachel, Chandler, Phoebe, Monica Ross. Yeah. But I think Phoebe and Monica I could maybe interchange depending on the episode because there are some fucking funny things that Monica does.
Yeah, Monica has moments where she has really good storylines. Way more than Ross for sure. And I love her and Chandler together.
Yes. I also have a hard time relating to someone who is an OCD neat freak who wants to clean all the time. So that automatically just makes her annoying to me.
I definitely don't relate to that. I wish that I liked to clean, but I do not. So here we are.
If you were going to wager or if there was something that you wanted to see in the Friends reunion, and we can revisit this once we're closer to the actual reunion because we're going to have to do maybe a full-on character rumble, a Friends rumble, or we do a reaction video after we watch it. One of those two. What would you like to see from the reunion?
See, I'm just like so afraid because so many of these reboots are like not good. So for me, truthfully, if I just got to like watch them all sit down and talk together, not being in character, just being like the 6 actors, real people, and just talk about the experience and like talk about their favorite moments and just being back together again, I would like that. I get worried that you're not going to be able to like create the same vibe and like quote unquote recapture the magic that it was. There's just so much has changed. I mean, it ended so long ago. It ended in 2004 for crying out loud. So it's been a while. And it's just like, are you going to mess it up? I don't know. I just worry. But it's just if they can tell nice stories about how all those children have grown up happy and maybe Monica and Chandler got to have more kids if they wanted more kids. Emma and Ben grew up and were normal despite the fact that Ross was their father. Maybe Phoebe had babies. They hinted that Phoebe really wanted kids, so I hope that got to happen for them. So that's just what I hope.
What was the name of the British girl that Ross married?
Emily.
Is it weird that I hope that she is in the show? But like,
yeah, I so stupid.
I would love if it is a real show. I would love for her and Bruce Willis to have gotten married, and they run into Ross and Rachel in the street.
I mean, she did get married after her and Ross got divorced, but I don't think it was to Bruce Willis.
Can we confirm that?
I think so.
No, maybe. Well, we can't confirm that they got divorced, and then she met Bruce Willis at Nakatomi Plaza.
Well, I think the Bruce Willis situation came after the Emily situation.
Right. I'm saying in the interim between the last episode and the reunion episode.
So you think Emily got divorced a second time and then married Bruce Willis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't hope for that.
I don't hope for it, but it's what the people want. So
no one wants that except for you.
There was a poll, 98% of people polled said that they wanted
Prove
Bruce
it.
Willis. I can't. It's scientific. It's fake news. It doesn't matter. I don't need to justify anything to you. I can just tweet it. I can just tweet it and it's real.
I don't like you. Have fun getting banned by Twitter and then creating your own fake Twitter platform for you to just deluge the internet with dumb shit.
Oh, that's too funny. I think for me, what I actually do want to see is it's very similar to what you want to see. But I just want closure that everyone ended up happy.
Yeah.
Right? Or like, I also don't want them to allude to the fact that this is the first time they've gotten together since then, because, like, imagine if our friendship group didn't get together for
17 years.
17 years.
That would be a bummer.
How sad would that be? We spend all of these seasons together making these memories in New York, and then we don't talk, or we don't see each other for 17 years.
Yeah. That's my thing too, is like I do hope, and I believe that there's still going to be regularity with them. You know, obviously not every day, but still like podcast yawn.
Love it.
Still some amount of, relationships maintained.
Yeah. Or if it is the first time they're getting together in 17 years, like if there's like a feud backstory or something happened, like I want to know the fallout, and it better damn be funny.
It better be hysterical.
Podcast burp. Anything else? I mean, I feel like, man, we talked about some good stuff today. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up and call it a night?
I mean, what do you think if Friends was going to be on now, what would you want from it?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Number one, I think a little bit more diversity.
Just a touch, aka any amount of diversity.
Any diversity. Actually, yes, I would like just any diversity.
Yeah, it's kind of so interesting because there was the whole like lesbian thing when they showed Carol and Susan getting married. That was like a big deal that they were having that on TV, and they like showed them kiss. It was like a huge deal because that was like 96 maybe. So I'm like, how can you be so forward thinking in a certain way and so like blind to what you're not doing correctly in other areas? You know what I mean? And it's like, it was on for 10 years. You still have time to kind of come back, and obviously you can't go back in time and correct it, but as you move forward, there are still opportunities. And it's just like, come on, guys. Like, there's no shortage of talented people of color. Like, you can literally, like, it's not hard. So I don't know. I'm like, you're just not doing a good job.
Yeah. Also, okay, want to know what's crazy? This made me think. I'm going to go down this list and see how long it takes me to get to a person of color on this cameo list.
Season 10. Charlie.
It's not, well, no, I'm just going, wait, what?
She was in season 9 when she dated Joey and then dated Ross. She was the archaeologist.
You're telling me that you don't think, so you took them 10 years to think, guys, we need maybe one non-white person on the show.
No, I mean, technically Ross also dated Julie in the second season for a little bit.
Well, in this list of by thegoldderby.com, predict Hollywood races. I don't know. Oh, I guess it's some sort of gambling site. Out of the 30 top Friends characters they have, not a single person of color is on this list.
I can't believe they didn't have. Oh my god, I'm annoyed that I can't remember who the woman who played Charlie, because she was also on Criminal Minds for a really long time.
I'm gonna look her actress name up right now.
Yeah. But I thought she was good, and I think it was funny that she dated Joey and then Ross, because Rachel says
Tyler.
Yes. Yeah, and she was also in Criminal Minds. It's very good.
Yeah, that kind of upsets me. That's what I would want to see.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like, there's no way. Like, it's just absurd.
I'm also going to look at this right now. So this is InStyle.com, the 23 best celebrity cameos from Friends, and I'm still not seeing. Just a lot of vanilla here.
Yep.
Lot of vanilla. I'm on number 12 of 23. Still have not. Okay, number 13 of 23. Aisha Tyler. We finally get a top ranking celebrity in their opinion, quote who's not a white person. That's the biggest flaw of the show.
Absolutely. And then, obviously we don't live in New York, but there's a lot of people who talk about like the cost of living situation, but they kind of address that a few times. Like, I guess like Monica's grandmother had leased out the apartment when it was still rent controlled. And so her rent was always super cheap. I think also a lot of people just had issues with the size of it. Again, I don't live in New York, so I can't speak to that, but I always thought that kitchen was very small. And there's only one bathroom for the two of them. There's not enough room for all my stuff in there, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's what, 2 bedrooms,
The
a living room, a dining room,
kitchen.
the kitchen.
It's not. I mean, they have a table in the kitchen, and then they have like that little patio thing, which I always thought was weird. That it's like a balcony, but there's not a door to it. You have to crawl through the window to get out, which I always found very odd.
I wonder if that's a New York thing, though, because
Maybe.
I don't think that exists in Chicago.
I don't think it exists anywhere. I think it's a show, like a fake show thing, but I don't know. If you have that apartment, let us know.
We got to do the Friends experience when it's no more COVID.
I would pay so much money for that.
And the Van Gogh experience. Like all those things.
Yes, that one's coming here.
Oh. Yes. When?
Like next week? I don't know.
All right. Well, we're booking our tickets.
See you soon.
Yeah, we need to book our tickets to a wedding. So my friend Garrett is getting married next month. Still haven't booked our tickets for anything.
I mean, we just booked ours for Mark and Leah's like last week, so. And I don't have tickets booked home, so I guess we're just gonna live in Pennsylvania now. We're
driving back to Illinois. You want to come with us?
Yes.
Deal.
Perfect.
You guys want to come live with us in whatever house we get?
Yeah, sure. Get enough bedrooms.
We'll just ship Scarlett up to us in a box.
Yeah, that's how that works.
We'll have Emily just walk her up to us.
Also how that works, for sure. Can see no fault in this plan.
Okay, so you had also, before we go, because I thought about this while we were talking, you had also talked about if the show started today, that it wouldn't be as successful. Do you think it's strictly because of the diversity, or do you think that today's generation, like, I would potentially put Friends in the same boat as Seinfeld. Seinfeld makes no sense today because the internet exists.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Seinfeld isn't funny because of phones. Or it's not that it's not funny. It's not relatable. Again, it's kind of one of those things. If you watch it now, you're like, I don't get this. But if you watched it when it was on, it's like the nostalgia and the sentiment of it. Like you still can be like, oh, I enjoy this still. I think Friends, I think it's similar. Like a lot of people who try and watch it now, there's too much to get past on like the realities of like, why aren't you at work? And why are these people together all the time? And why is everyone sleeping together and all this stuff? I also I just think shows that are more successful now, I just think it's more drama. It's like, I don't think comedies do as well anymore. And I don't know why, because we're all very sad people. You'd think we would like to laugh every once in a while. But I think it's harder for comedies to be as successful anymore. Movies is different, but like as far as a TV show setting, I feel like true comedies just like aren't really getting made anymore. I feel like it's dramas and thrillers and murder mysteries and things like that. I mean, I struggle to think of a comedy that's on right now.
I think there's a lot, like, comedies in the animated sector have really blown up.
Well, yes, for sure.
But so like 2 comedies that I think are recently coming off air, or there's maybe one more season of, is Superstore and Brooklyn Nine-Nine are 2 that stand out.
Okay, yes, I do like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I forgot that existed.
But even then, I think, and I mean, that's a really good point. So most of my favorite TV shows are comedies.
But if you look at Brooklyn Nine-Nine, even it got canceled, and luckily it picked up by another network. But like, it's clearly like these networks are canceling these things. Like, it's just they don't, for whatever reason, they don't seem to be as successful. And I don't know if it's because typically comedies are going to be structured into the 30-minute blocks. Maybe networks are looking more to do the hour-long blocks now. I don't know.
That's a good point. Psych, my number one favorite TV show of all time, was an hour-long block.
Yes.
And they've made now 2, a third in production, full feature movies.
Oh.
They're direct-to-TV movies, but
Yeah.
I think they have 8 seasons and now 3 movies. So,
Yeah.
but that's a TV show where the main 2 characters are a black guy and a white guy, and you have a pretty diverse cast, and they have had a lot of range in their guest cameos. So I don't know. Maybe it's tougher for comedies to really, because everyone's got such a unique sense of humor. But I feel like everyone feels sadness in similar ways. Maybe sadness is a more universal emotion. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think people just like to watch other people's lives fall apart as a distraction from anything that might be wrong with their lives. Like anytime you watch Grey's Anatomy, you're like, well, at least I'm not being blown up. At least no one's stabbing me. I don't know. Like, it's just like I will say Grey's Anatomy is really hard to watch this season because they're doing COVID. And so it's like, it's more difficult for me to watch because I'm like, this is the reality for a lot of doctors. Like obviously in previous seasons, I'm like, okay, probably these people aren't really trying to have to deal with 2 people impaled together because of a train accident. And then they're like, it's just the most absurd, oh, there's a bomb in this guy's stomach, but it hasn't exploded. So my hand's on it. Like, that's not a reality. You think like, oh, people are having to deal with this. So, but it's kind
of. Is
that
really what Grey's Anatomy really is about? Is that like a thing that actually happened in that show?
Yes. That was like season 2. Yes.
So I should watch this show?
Oh my God, absolutely. Please watch it. There's so many seasons. You'll never run out of shows to watch. They're currently on the 18th, 17th season or the 18th season. The 19th one
I can't do that. No,
there's many. There's so much.
No.
So much content.
Although it would be funny to go and rewatch. Maybe if we did if you want to rewatch Grey's Anatomy, I would potentially do like little one-off 10-minute podcasts with you.
Absolutely. I mean, I
just recap episode by episode.
Yes. We can do that.
That would be funny. Okay. Maybe that'll be we'll continue. Put a pin in that conversation because
we call dibs. No one take that idea.
Yeah, dibs. That's a Carmen and Kelcey podcast.
It's
trademarked. Wait, hold on. What would we call it? We'll talk off air. We don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. We don't want to give the people everything.
Yeah, we got to make them yearn and get boners for more. Okay. I'm going to think about this. That's going to be a fun little nugget to let rattle around in my marble holder. I'm trying to think of what else I want to talk about with Friends. I just love Jennifer Aniston. Her nipples are the MVP of the entire show.
Dude, I'm like, there are times when I'm like, okay, you have to be trying to do this. Like, there's no way that they just, like, did you just sit back there and, like, was there someone on set in charge of, like, pinching that? I don't, like, why are they so hard all the time?
Were they actually her nipples all the time, though? Or were they, like, the fake, like, little pokies?
Why would they put those on her?
I don't know. Maybe she couldn't actually have hard. Maybe it was, like...
Why would they... It's not important to the plot that her nipples be hard.
No, but it is important to her hotness that her nipples are hard.
Well, she doesn't exist solely to be hot.
So no, but
that's fine.
No, but, okay, first off, I understand that. Okay? This isn't How I Met Your Mother. But in the 90s into early 2000s, I'm sure that she was seen as some kind of sexualized icon. And I'm sure that there were writers in this show going, it's not like there weren't the rights of movie and TV stars today didn't exist the way that they did back then. So someone was marginalizing her in some way, saying, we need your nipples to be hard or else.
I don't think so. I mean, I just think maybe she didn't want to wear a bra and she has really good boobs, so she didn't have to.
I don't hate that.
And like, no one's going to say we have to reshoot this. We can see your nipples.
Yeah, that is good for TV. That's good content for TV.
I think also at that time, by the end of season 10, they were each making $1 million an episode. And it was because at the beginning of the series, they all went in together and agreed anytime there was going to be a pay change, they were all going to like communicate about it. And they were all going to make sure they always were making the same amount of money, no matter what was happening. Because there was a time when I think Jennifer Aniston they tried they tried to offer her more, and she was like, everyone has to make the same. Like, you can offer this to everyone, or you can keep paying us all the same. So she was really, I think, the first one that got offered more than everyone else, and she really stuck to her guns on it. And I just think it's very positive that they all had a good relationship off of screen, because I don't think that show would have worked if they didn't like each other.
Yeah. I do remember reading that. Maybe it was actually you that sent that to me. Can you imagine that happening in today's day and age, where everyone's like, no, it's okay. I would prefer to make the same amount of money as my co-stars, even though I'm way more popular.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's good that, you know, I like that they all stuck to it, and it does speak to it to a certain extent that it was actually a woman they were offering more money to, because typically that's not how that goes. But I appreciate that she stuck to her guns and her word and was like, no, we're all going to make the same. And then they all ended up making, I mean, $1 million an episode. That's absurd. That's so much money. Like, it blows my mind every time I think about it. Like, can I just have some dollars, please? Can I just have like $20? Help me, I'm poor.
If someone put me on front of national TV, I would say, I mean, I'll do an episode, $20 an episode. Let's do it.
$20. What a deal.
I won't even wear a bra. You could see my nipples. You could do it. I would do it. Anyways, I feel good. I'm going to go eat some chili. I'm going to go say hi to my wife. There was a dog barking earlier. I think I'm going to go see if my little boy Grievous wants to see me. You have a little baby and a beautiful husband to go talk to. Or not. I don't know. Unless you don't want to go see them.
Scarlett's asleep because it's nighttime.
Yeah,
and Michael is in the shower, I think.
Oh, nice. Go join him. Nice. Go to him. Embrace him. Make another baby.
Okay.
Anyways, do you want to sign us out, or do you want me to sign us out?
I'll do it.
Do it!
Thanks for listening, guys. Go follow us everywhere that we told you to follow us, and do the things we told you to do, and tell all your friends about this. And let us know what your favorite episode of Friends is when we post this on Instagram. And if you've got a dream,
go and chase it. We will see you all in the next one.
Bye.